Woohoo! Time to leave your worries outside and join me, Dan O'Malley, Trey Trenholm, and Raj Sharma right here in the Treehouse. It is Friday. Which, by the way, guys, if you ever feel like turning that into a chorus type thing instead of a solo, I'm all for it. We can harmonize.
It just makes me giggle every time you do it. So I don't think I'd be able to participate because I'd be laughing. But
you feel like it's my bit, not yours.
It's kind of your thing, and it's quite adorable. It does make me laugh every time.
I try to be. I try to give the people what they want, and that's one of those odd things that you don't expect someone to latch on to. Like, I think I did it like twice when we were on the radio, and then when I didn't do it one Friday, people were messaging and going, "Hey, what's wrong? Why didn't Dan sing Friday?"
Ah, okay, that's what it is.
Like, right. Really? You liked that thing? That was just me being dumb. I'm like, okay, I'll do it if you like it.
I find it whimsical.
Well, if we are nothing else here in the Treehouse, whimsical is a good describer. Normally it's stupid, but I like whimsical. It sounds more positive.
Yeah.
It hurts my feelings less.
You're whimsical. I'm contrarian.
and then what would Raj be?
I don't know, but we're just adding dwarves now to the 7 dwarves. We got sleepy.
No, I think you had it right with dwarves. I feel like we're coming up with our own categories of Dungeons and Dragons, but just really, really stupid. You know, it's like, what are you? I'm a level 6 whimsical, and Trey is a level 9 contrarian,
master contrarian. Which is weird that you bring that up. Dungeons and Dragons making quite the comeback. I didn't realize that was a thing anymore.
It's thanks, I think, due in very large part to Stranger Things. Dungeons and Dragons has turned into more of a mainstream thing than I think it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, it's still. You have to understand that you are just a nerd. Like, that's just a fact. Like, if you're playing it,
because nerd culture has kind of gone mainstream.
Yeah,
whether you're talking about shows like Stranger Things, because it's about, these outcast kids, or they're the nerds, they play Dungeons and Dragons, but then that became the hottest television show on the planet. You have the Big Bang Theory centered around nerd culture.
Yeah,
and it took a few years, but eventually became the #1 comedy on television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it stole my name.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Raj.
Oh yes, that is. Yeah, I actually thought about that last night because in our new place here on St. John, we actually have cable for the first time in I don't know how many years, and so we actually turned on TBS and watched a little bit of Big Bang Theory. And,
it's a really terrible show. It's a really terrible show.
Really? You're about to see Trey's outer contrarian.
It's so badly written that it's painful. I've seen it on accident, and I'm so glad. It's just so bad.
I disagree. I think it was incredibly well written and well cast.
No, it's so bad. It was on for 12 seasons.
This is like one of those things. Like when I say, like, I don't like Metallica.
Okay, well, that's just dumb.
Okay, but I know they're incredibly successful, so I don't say they suck. They're just not my cup of tea.
Amen, brother. I now that's a hill I will die with you on. Not the Metallica thing, because Metallica is one of the best ever, and how dare you? But the hill I will die on you with is just because you don't like something doesn't mean it sucks. It just means that. It's just not your cup of tea. It's very difficult to claim something sucks when the thing you're saying sucks is wildly successful.
No, it's what we call in LA. It's how TV shows work. It's called selling soap to the Midwest. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. You try to sell. That's all TV is just selling advertising. And for the Midwest, like, that's like, oh my God, look at these nerds, and look at that Indian feller, like that. Oh, I get, okay, but like Trey's educated and has been around a variety of people. Same
as am I, and I too am a fan of the Big Bang Theory, Raj.
It's just so bad.
And
but
I feel like
how many? Wait, hang on. Wait,
yeah.
You said you watched an episode by accident. So
I didn't watch an episode by accident. Hold on. Let me back up. I've seen snippets of multiple episodes because I'll leave the TV on, and I think Friends is on before it. And now, so I think it goes Friends, Big Bang Theory, and then Modern Family.
So how many episodes have you actually sat down and watched?
I watched in my hotel room a couple months ago. I watched one full episode, and I was miserable because it's a setup punch. It's setup punch. That's all it
is. It's a sitcom.
And,
that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 22 minutes of setup and punch.
But then go watch Friends, and then you'll see how a sitcom should be written.
And you know what the thing is, Raj, is there are people in this world that would say your opinion of Friends is bad because they think, so that's the whole thing. It's like you can be wildly successful and you can still have detractors no matter what.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like you said, like, unfortunately, you painted yourself into that Hollywood quote unquote elite category, which is you're just trying to sell soap to the Midwest. So the downside of that is you're already looking down on your potential audience, which is not helpful as a creator. I don't care if it's an online creator or Hollywood, New York doing plays, stand-up, whatever it is. That was something Leno tapped into. He tapped into the Midwest stuff, and that's why he was successful. Letterman didn't really do that, but he still found himself successful. And that was what was great about late night at the time is you had an option, either whichever was your cup of tea at the time. But when it comes to television and movies, whatever, you can have something that's meant to sort of, appeal to the general American. But The Big Bang Theory is one of those shows that didn't. The fact that it ever appealed to the Midwest was kind of shocking because they were using words that were more than 3 and 4 syllables, which by studio executive standards, I'm surprised that show even made it to a third season.
But I have seen Young Sheldon. I've seen an episode of that, and that is better written than the Big Bang Theory, which it's based off of.
The thing is, though, I think that's an unfair comparison because they're two vastly different styles of shows.
They're both sitcoms. And I totally disagree with you in that I don't think Young Sheldon was better written, but it's very similar in that if you like because Jim Parsons narrates Young Sheldon, and
I didn't say I liked it. I just said it was better written. I didn't say I liked it.
He's just saying it's the better trash.
Yeah, I'm just okay. I'll just say it's terrible to me. Let's just say that.
That's better. That's more mature. That's more mature, is to say, you know what? You know what, Trey? If you like Big Bang Theory, that's good for you. It's not my cup of tea.
If you read or any list about people who classify the greatest sitcoms ever, I Love Lucy is always on there. I can't stand it. I think it's just as dumb and predictable. And
I think it was just because it was great for its time. It's the same with like The Doors. The Doors is hands down one of the most overrated bands in the history of bands outside of Nirvana, which was just terrible. And
you and I now there is something you and I totally agree on. So I hate Nirvana.
Well, there we found it, common ground.
And I can't stand The Doors either. And I agree with you. If Jim Morrison's death is and Jim Morrison made The Doors music just completely blows.
And I think that's where all three of us can gather around the center of this here treehouse and all agree that none of us like The Doors.
No, it's they were just, if you just lyrically, if you look at what they were doing, nobody was doing it at that time, right? But it doesn't hold up. Like Nirvana's lyrics are garbage. Like if you just look up Smells Like Teen Spirit, just look up the lyrics and you'll be ashamed of yourself if you actually like that song. You look at them, it's just the ramblings of a heroin addict is all it was.
But it sounded good and we ate it.
It was, and then you listen to Dave Grohl talk about that specific song and then go listen to the Gap Band is where he got the drums from for
that entire album.
Yeah, it was from the Gap Band, which is hilarious because
I'm just glad that we were able to find common ground and that the love or hate over the Big Bang Theory did not fracture our show.
It did not. But it is pioneering for its time. Like people like,
but also people didn't have options. That's what I think you have to give shows in the modern age that are successful, like the Big Bang Theory, a lot of credit in that, I Love Lucy and all there were 3 stations. Like you had no options. Now you've got hundreds of options. And the fact, you have a run like that, it's impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also following the same formula as Friends, right? Because every show kind of did that. Like if you look at Scrubs, you have 6 people that are friends, and then there's romantic spin-offs of that, right? So the same plot for Big Bang Theory is there's 6 people, and then there's little romantic spin-offs of it. So they're just following that. It's what Hollywood does. It's basically like if that show is successful, we'll make another one of those. And every
Hollywood
station,
at the end of the day is,
would you agree that
more
Friends
science
is a copy?
than art.
Would you agree that Friends is a copy of Living Single?
Yes, 100%.
Okay,
100%.
And that's something that Hollywood sometimes needs to realize. And this is where a lot of times you'll get like the studio versus the actual creators, is you get the formulas, and some of the creators hate it, but also some of the creators can be like, it gives me a framework already to work from. You can always go back. You can go back from storytelling basics and find some running themes through everything, whether it's a TV sitcom, a TV drama, or an audio podcast.
Yeah, when I auditioned for the CBS showcase and I ended up getting it, which was amazing. It was a turning point in my professional career. Like I remember sitting with some of the executives at CBS when Priyanka Chopra's Quantico came out, and I remember them sitting around going before it came out, like talking about it, like let's see if this hits, because if it hits, we need to find ours, and them bringing in actresses and actors from India during pilot season, to try to knock off their version of Quantico. And
I think that's part of the reason why once you get set, even if it's just your big toe inside the Hollywood sphere, once you peek behind that curtain and you see the wizard, you're like, okay, a lot of this is really, really terrible, and that's going to give you a different perspective. Whereas like Trey and I haven't really done that, so we can watch Big Bang Theory, and then while I recognize that they play into a lot of stereotypes with their Raj, they at least call it out. Yes. And they'll say the thing that was clearly racial, and then they'll say you can't say that because it was racial. Right. So they operate kind of like on the fence, like they got the toe in the Hollywood, following the formula, but they're also calling it out, say like, hey, we're aware of this, but we're just trying to give the people what they want, which is at the end of the day entertainment.
Yeah, and you're right. It is when you see behind when you start seeing behind the curtain. Like when I first walked onto the lot at Radford CBS, and like I still remember I was on the corner. I'm not even making this up. I was at the corner of Gunsmoke and Gilligan's Island. That's the streets. They've named the streets after their shows. So I'm standing on the corner of Gunsmoke and Gilligan's Island. I was like, this is hilarious. And like all of it, it's just majestic, and all the studios and all the, and then when I started, I was there for 13, 14 weeks doing this CBS showcase. And I started seeing like the behind the scenes stuff and how this was getting done and how incestuous it is, like a Fox show being filmed at the CBS lot because it's produced by CBS, but they won't tell you that. Right. Because it's, the ratings war and all these networks are against each other. They're not. That's completely false. They're producing shows on the same lot. And then I started seeing how formulaic it was, and then hearing execs go, okay, so what are they doing? Okay, so we need to bring in people from India, because if that's a hit right now, we need to do our version of it. Mm-hmm. And they were just throwing writers in a room, like just kind of write something like that and make it the same. And I was like, oh, there's no creativity behind this.
And that's why at the end of the day, if you're the creator in the room, you're the writer, you're the director, you're the, whatever it is, that's where it's, there's the realization you can either do it completely independently, which is possible, but it's extremely difficult, or you can play a little bit of the game, but then try to get enough power to where you can do your own thing, and then the studios will just follow you. So that's, and everything you just said is both true and not new. That's how we end up with, in the same summer, we get Armageddon and Deep Impact. That's the reason why we still get. That's the reason why we still get King Kong movies and Godzilla movies. It's like, oh, it worked in Japan. Well, we got to do it here.
So when people go, oh, so Hollywood's run out of ideas, that's not true. What they've done is they go, well, you sit over there. This works. This will make us $100 million at the box office. We don't know if that will. So we'll make that as an independent film, or we'll make that as a art house film or whatever. But we will do like King Kong versus Jason. Like we'll do that, because that's going to make us $100 million.
Those are okay. So far, Raj, you have thrown out 2 really good mashups that I would watch. I would watch the mashup of Gunsmoke meets Gilligan's Island and What'd you say? Jason versus King Kong?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
watch those shows.
You know, Jason's gonna win. Like he beats Kong.
He has to. He can't die.
But I would love to see Gunsmoke and Gilligan's Island. Like that would.
I would also like to see Jason Voorhees on Gilligan's Island.
Because at the end of it, he'll be the only person on the island.
There you go. That's actually even better. It's the new season of Survivor, and then the last person that they introduce as the last member of the island is Jason Voorhees.
Or you can just picture him in the opening credits of Gunsmoke riding around on a horse with a machete.
That hockey mask is not practical in the Wild West.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
One thing I will say about podcasting versus radio, is you have the ability to, if you screw up, you can stop and start over and no one hears it. So do please call our friends at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration, sponsors of this here segment Inside the Treehouse. Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration, their phone number 833-COOK-DFW. Give them a call for your free roof inspection or maybe a quote on a remodeling job inside the house. That's the restoration part as well. 833-COOK-DFW. I want to jump into some birthdays here, but Raj, you had an important question you were curious about my new living situation.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, do the places that you're moving in, like the new place you've moved into, was it furnished?
Yes.
Okay, because
it's very common. It's very common in island locations because it's difficult to get furniture to and from. That the places, whether it's for rent or sale, typically you'll get a lot of stuff furnished.
Gotcha, because I don't see you owning that mirror behind you.
That's because that's not my mirror. So this is a good time to plug. This is a good time to plug our Patreon, because you go to patreon.com/treehouseonair. You get the full video version of the Treehouse podcast. Whereas if you watch it on YouTube, you'll get a little bit of the beginning, maybe a chunk of the first segment, or maybe the whole first segment on video on YouTube, but then it goes to audio only. On Patreon, patreon.com/treehouseonair, you get full video if you want. So you can see the new place that I'm living in, most of which of this stuff is not mine or Tara's. Like everything on the walls was here when we moved in.
Yeah, like my mom would have that. My mom would have had that mirror.
Probably because the people that own this house were about the same age as all of our parents. Oh yeah, you see that corner over that shoulder. You see that corner entertainment center?
Yeah.
Not ours.
No.
I would have loved the corner entertainment center like 10, 15 years ago.
Is the painting over there on the wall?
Is it on the wall?
Yeah. It's
not ours.
Definitely not yours.
You see that black fan right there?
Yeah.
That's mine. If you ever need a good air moving fan, and they're not paying me to say this, although I'd love to, get a cut of the action. Vornado. Mm-hmm.
With a V. I see, like a vortex tornado.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Good job, Raj.
Yeah.
As opposed to what I thought it was initially was very tornado.
Somewhere in the ether, my immigrant parents were laughing because even them, they would be like, even we didn't think that. That sounds like something like my dad would bid. It's very tornado.
Yeah, I also feel like it's one of those things that my family, would look at me and see this and hear me say that and think, we really should have just left him in Oklahoma. It really is amazing the things I'll say inside this treehouse, which, by the way, the house that we're living in is very much like a treehouse. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, but didn't they mix you up? Wasn't there a mix up with the babies?
When it came time for me to have the official adoption, yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Trey, do you remember this story?
Vaguely.
I think the last time I told you this story, you were drinking at the time, so I don't mind you telling it.
Both your memories were screwed.
I'll give you the very short version, and it's taken me 44 years to become better at telling short stories.
Wasn't it a drop off at a Walmart?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That just it doesn't get more Oklahoma than this moment where you're getting a baby in a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah. So I did the switched at birth thing, except I was switched back. So here's what happened. So my parents were on the wait list for a baby. They wanted to adopt a baby, and they've been on the wait list for a long time. And they were supposed to be matched up as closely genetically possible as they could at the time. That was the whole point of the process, right?
Was that just
so
white?
That way? Yeah. So that way, in case you didn't want to tell the child he or she was adopted, it really wouldn't have mattered because he looked close enough. So that's what my parents did. And then when they went to Oklahoma City, so I was born in Tulsa, and then I went into foster care. And for 3 months, I was in foster care. And then when it came time for me to be matched up with my family, they had to do it in Oklahoma City. So my dad and my mom drive to Oklahoma City to come get me. Then they get the baby. They're driving back home to northern Oklahoma. My dad's looking at the Polaroid of me and comparing it with this weird kid in the back seat, and is like, this ain't our kid. So they turn around, go back to the facility in Oklahoma City and say, this ain't our kid. And at that point, my dad got angrier than he ever had been in his life. My mother would still give him that to this day. And so then they had to call the family that had me. Because state of Oklahoma was initially saying, you wanted a kid, you got a kid, get out of here. But my parents were insistent, like, no, we waited years for this. We don't want just whatever kid fell out of the bin. We want the one that we were supposed to get. So they contacted the family that actually had me, and they had gone to a different part of Oklahoma. And so then they decided to meet in the middle, somewhere between Oklahoma and wherever this random family had me. And they had an official representative from the state witness the exchange of babies in a Walmart parking lot. And that's how I end up where I am today with you fine gentlemen.
And somehow
that's the greatest story ever.
With as opposed to being lost forever in southwestern Oklahoma.
If you were ever going to tie in a story of your being switched at birth, very tornado and Oklahoma really just make it all just sync up.
Do you get nostalgic at Walmart parking lots? Like, do you feel a sense of like, this is home? like why are you loitering? I'm not loitering. I'm home. Do you ever find yourself like at a Walmart parking lot, like I don't want to go in just yet?
You know what? No, because Walmarts just aren't like what they aren't like they used to be. Now it's all about deals and falling prices as opposed to switching babies.
I mean, it like if there's just no more American story than yours.
You know what? Then let's make a movie out of it or something, Raj. Because everyone complains in Hollywood. There's no good ideas. We all are forced to do this formulaic crap. So let's do a movie about a lost white kid that gets saved. Oh wait.
Make the parents Korean and you got a hit.
Let's do some birthdays.
Okay.
Today is Friday, November 10th, 2023. Birthdays today. We've got Mackenzie Foy is 24, the star of Black Beauty remake and Disney's The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Didn't even know that was a thing. She was also Bella and Edward's daughter in the Twilight movies. So that's Mackenzie Foy. She's 24 today. Then we get Kiernan Shipka. Kiernan Shipka is 25, played Sabrina Spellman on the Netflix series The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She was also, and this is where I know her best, she was Sally Draper on Mad Men. Did you guys ever watch Mad Men?
No.
That is on my list of shows that I need to watch.
It's a good one, Trey. Not only is it a great show, but since you've worked in the advertising industry, having worked in radio for many, many years, there are things that will happen and things that are said that you will you will feel immediately related to, and also say, "Ooh, too soon."
I lied. I saw back to back. I saw 2 episodes. It was great. I think they filmed some of it here in Dallas.
Really?
As well. Yeah, I think if I'm correct, the first season, I think their office was filmed at Southside Lamar.
Interesting. I'll have to go and check that out. See if that's
I believe that is accurate. Yeah, I believe it's season 1. I think part of season 1 was filmed here in Dallas.
Zoe Deutsch is 30 today, from Zombieland 2, also Vampire Academy, and she was also in Dirty Grandpa. Her mom is Leah Thompson from the Back to the Future movies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing, Hollywood, in addition to being formulaic, when it comes to the content of their TV shows and films, they're also pretty formulaic in their choice of actors, because they just keep going back to the same damn families.
Yes, it's called nepotism.
It's true.
They also keep going back to the same people. I mean, good God, who would have thought Liam Neeson was going to be a action star?
No,
but he does Taken, and now he's done 10 different movies, just variants of Taken.
Yeah, it's all and can we just be honest with the first Taken was great. The second one, no.
The first Taken was perfect. It was perfect.
And then I'm like, when the second one came out, I'm like, stop vacationing in Azerbaijan. Like, why are you going? Like, who's your travel agent? Like,
I think it was a work trip for him.
He's just an IT consultant that just knows how to kick all the ass. Like, and then everything started being taken. Everything was like taken on a train, taken in the snow, and then the new one that just came out was like taken with your kids in the car. Like,
my favorite though was Taken 3, when his ex-wife's husband / daughter's father-in-law was taken so hard they replaced him with different actors, and then made him the bad guy in Taken 3. Other birthdays today, you've got Josh Peck. He is 38 today. Played Josh Nichols on Nickelodeon's Drake and Josh. Lou Ferrigno Jr. is 40 today. Plays Rocker on SWAT. I didn't even know that Lou's kid was an actor.
Yeah, I met him once. He was a
dad or junior?
Dad. I got him to sign one of my incredible. I collected the comic books as a kid. And I got him to sign one of my Incredible Hulk comic books. And he,
in the last segment, Raj, weren't you complaining about how Hollywood is so formulaic that they named the Indian character on The Big Bang Theory Raj? Yet here you are geeking out at Lou Ferrigno getting your Hulk stuff signed.
He was at the he was in Mesquite. Like, trust me, back in that's a big deal. Like, when we got him at
for Mesquite.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what we knew. Like, I'm like, oh my God, Lou Ferrigno's at the gym. And
that's when you knew your worlds. It was like 2 ships in the night passing. Except you were on your way up, and he was on his way down.
Yeah, but he was at the same gym that was in Mesquite. It was called USA Fitness and Racquetball Club. It doesn't get more 80s than that. It was a racquetball club, and he was at promoting something. But they had him as an appearance, and he was just the biggest human I've ever seen. I also was like 5'4" and 65 pounds. So anybody was a bigger human than I've ever seen.
Exactly. So basically, you were so small and he was so large, he mistook you for a dumbbell.
I remember distinctly saying his calf muscle was bigger than me. I remember looking at his, he was just wearing a black tank top and black shorts, and I just remember looking at his legs, and I'm like, yeah, if he just slightly nudged me with the toe, that's a fatality. And I don't even think hate crimes existed back then, so I don't even think that's what it was.
No, at that time, the Mesquite police would have shown up and been like, "Oh, clearly he got in the way of your toe."
Yes,
sorry about the Indian fellow.
They're not normally allowed here.
You know he's here for the racquetball.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by our dear friends at Brooks Plumbing. Brooks Plumbing. Phone number 214-368-3838. 214-368-3838. The website, brooksplumbingtexas.com. We go take a quick look to see if there's any other birthdays that we really need to. Oh my God, it's a big birthday day. All right, we're going to run through these real quick. Here we go. We left off with Lou Ferrigno Jr. as 40 from the TV show SWAT. I skipped over, unfortunately, Taron Egerton. He is 35 today. He played Elton John in Rocket Man. He was Robin in the most recent Robin Hood remake with Jamie Foxx, which I have not seen, but I wanted to. And he's also Eggsy in the Kingsman movies.
So good.
The Kingsman
Except
movie?
for that last one.
Golden Circle or the King's Men?
The King's Man.
The prequel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's great. He's great in the Kingsman movies.
Yeah, they're really good.
He's one of those actors. I shouldn't say one of those actors. He's one of those people that truly hit the genetic lottery. Like there was a supermodel a handful of years ago. She gave a commencement speech. Mm-hmm. So I think she was valedictorian at her university or something. And she talked about people's, stereotypes and stuff because she's gorgeous. But the way she said it, it wasn't like in an a-hole-ish supermodel kind of way. She's like, look, I hit the genetic lottery. I know I'm pretty, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Yet she still had to bust her ass and work against that stereotype to become valedictorian, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton is one of those people that has hit a genetic lottery, but has still managed to put forth effort into it to become the level of celebrity that he is. What I mean by that is that dude is unfairly good looking. Like he is a pretty man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also has a beautiful singing voice. He actually, I don't know if you guys have seen Sing 1 or Sing 2. It's the animated movies where the animals, sing. He plays the chimpanzee. He's got a gorgeous singing voice.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor. If you guys haven't seen, it was on Apple TV, the movie called Tetris, about Tetris. He plays the main role in that, and he was really good in that. That's one of those guys you're just like, man, that's just not fair.
Yeah. When I saw the first Kingsman movie, I was like, who is this guy? I didn't know who he was. And then I saw the second one, and and then I saw the Elton John biopic, and it was just so great. And I'm like, this kid he's got it. Like there's people that got, like my buddy Matt Rife. Matt Rife is like the new sensation in stand-up comedy. He's got it. Like he's ridiculously good looking. I've known him since he was 17. He's ridiculously good looking. You want to hate him because he's so good looking, and he's funny, and he's a good comic. And then on top of that, the nicest guy. So there's nothing to dislike about him. And I would hope that this guy is the same way. Like I would hate to meet this, like what's it, Taron? Is that his name? Taron Egerton?
Taron Egerton. Yeah.
Yeah. I would hate to meet him and him be an a-hole. Like that would be disappointing, because he just seems like it's all like he's got that whole package put together. Like, but yeah,
kind of like a Tom Holland, someone that seems like good looking, young, very wealthy, talented. Not only is he a really good actor, but he's really good cross-dressing dancer, as he showed on the lip sync battle show.
Yeah. That was a great show. But yeah, that's good. Well, happy birthday to him. And you forgot to mention your own birthday was last week.
Oh, I didn't forget, Raj.
Is this a thing where you don't mention that you have a birthday? Like,
pretty much. I'm not. I guess I'm not completely on record on the Treehouse podcast at how I'm not a birthday person, but I'm not a birthday person for myself. I like celebrating other people's birthdays. Well, Trey, clearly, I think at this point knows that I'm not big on celebrating my birthday. Raj, I've known you long enough. You should know that I'm not big on celebrating my birthday. So that's why I'm assuming you're bringing it up now is to embarrass me.
No, because I think I was watching the game. Was it Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching the game, and your lovely wife posted a happy birthday to you, and I did not know that it was your birthday, and so I did send you a couple bucks to buy yourselves a round.
Which, by the way, thank you, Raj. I really do appreciate that. That is one thing about the 21st century that is awesome, is that you can give someone like me who doesn't want anything for my birthday.
Yes.
An unsolicited birthday money thing through technology, and I can't reject it.
That's true. You cannot.
The best thing I can do is send you back $20, and then we're just stuck in a $20 infinity loop.
Yeah, we don't need to do. But yeah, I didn't know it was your birthday, and I felt like I didn't know that you didn't. I'm not a big birthday person either. Everybody likes to celebrate it for me, like, which is great. Like, I always get like the girlfriend, like this time I had brownies, which I thought was ironic. But
no kidding. Like Tara didn't bring me a plate of Whiteies.
You're both a plate of Whiteies.
And scientists have shared an update on the Mexican three-fingered alien corpses that they unveiled recently.
What? What?
This is one of the most comical things I've seen. So a handful of months ago, you had the UFO hearings that happened in the U.S., right? You had the whistleblower guy. We talked about him, and everything seemed very legitimate, above board, and like, hey, there's some things happening. We're not all really sure what's going on, but we're all kind of unified for once, kind of wondering what's happening.
Right.
And then Mexico took it for a different spin. A team of scientists returned to Mexico's parliament to declare the three-fingered Peruvian mummies unveiled in September as real, but refused to say whether or not they were aliens. Well, one doctor claimed the specimens were a new species that did not have lungs or ribs. The specimens were reported to have been found alongside at least one other in a Peruvian algae mine, sparking a minor diplomatic tiff in the process, given the country's authorities were not made aware of the discovery. However, scientists across the world, especially in Mexico, were immediately skeptical and quick to dismiss the claims of tiny alien corpses.
Yeah. Okay.
They got to explain all those pyramids over there in Mexico, Peru, Machu Picchu. It's on to something.
Are they?
I don't think that these tiny aliens were responsible for that. Those are some really big structures that these little guys, I don't think, would have been able to do.
Do you say they're on to something or they're on something? Like those are two different things there, Trey. I'll agree with the latter. Like, I'm, again, I believe in aliens, and I believe that's who did the pyramids. But very valid point. But they don't have lungs or ribs. That's the part that got me, like, scientifically, like, how do you oxygenate?
Well, there are plenty of creatures on this planet that don't have lungs or ribs, and they live.
They found them in an what does it say? A mine, an old algae mine. So maybe they were underwater creatures.
Okay, I guess. All right. So they're not humanoid.
Well, they're humanoid because they have arms and legs and a head and stuff,
and fingers. They had three
fingers. They're part of the Simpson species.
or they're like early rednecks. They didn't know how to fire off fireworks.
or they just played for the New York Giants.
It's not a war movie. Don't count the three. Just light it and throw it. Thanks for hanging out with us inside the Treehouse. Be sure to check out the next episode, which will be the Treehouse Plus program. Be out on Monday. To subscribe, go to patreon.com/treehouseonair, and also dropping that same day, episode 61 of the Treehouse podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you next time in the Treehouse.
See you.